Hey everyone, welcome to Monday Musings with Sarah. And I am actually on location, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But let's say hello to Cindy, my producer. Hi, Cindy. And Blue. Hi, Blue. Since I'm away from home, I miss my Blue boy. Oh, look at him. He hears my voice. Hi,
He's
Blue.
like, "Where's mom?"
Hi, Blue. Okay, so let me chat with you just a minute about, oh, I didn't mean to do that. About where I am. Some of you are following me on Instagram or on Facebook, and you may have seen me post. I am actually at a writers' conference in Phoenix, Arizona. So I am on location in the hotel room. This is the window behind me. Well, it's the curtain, but behind the window, which I would show you what's back there, but it's just a parking lot. So it's not the best. I mean, we don't have a world-class view from our hotel room, but it is a very nice hotel and a very accommodating hotel room. We have really enjoyed staying here. And I keep saying we, my craft partner, who you have probably heard me mention before, her name is Kelly, and she lives in California, which some of you may have seen a map before and have noticed that California and Tennessee are very far apart, geographically speaking and in all other ways speaking. But we have kind of met here at Phoenix for this a faith, hope, love conference, Christian Writers Conference. And it has been the most fantastic treat to get to spend time with Kelly in person because we meet on Zoom, which is a wonderful tool. I really appreciate that we have that ability to meet with people across the country that way. We meet about once a week, um, and we have just the sweetest friendship. And she has been such a very important part of critiquing my scenes and my manuscript as they come out, which is also a job that Cindy does for me. So I really appreciate my team that's around me. And I hope that I bring some help and some hope to Kelly's work as well and to Cindy's. So here in Phoenix, it has been up to like 115 outside. And please don't tell me, but it's a dry heat. Once you get over 100 degrees, it's hot. It's hot. So I've been drinking a lot more water because that's what you do in extreme heat. And in places that those of us that are more used to the humidity, there is the danger of becoming dehydrated very quickly because you don't sweat here in the same way. The sweat evaporates right away. We've had to walk through the courtyard a couple of times, but we haven't had to be outside very much, which is wonderful. The conference has been really, really good. And there are a lot of things that writers look forward to at a conference. When I first started going to writers' conferences, I was very excited and nervous about being able to pitch my books and my book ideas to agents and acquisition editors and people like that. I was also very interested in the learning, all the things that I would learn at the conference. And while those two things are very valuable things that you get at a conference, and good reasons to attend a conference, the thing that I always walk away from a conference with that I appreciate the most is the networking. The people I've met, hearing their life stories a little bit and getting insight into how that has gotten them into writing and why they write what they write. And this has been no exception. This conference has given more time for that fellowship, that networking time than I think any other conference I've been to. And it was surprising to me because most conferences it's on a regimen, class, 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 lunch, class, keynote, that kind of thing. But this conference has given us longer meals, has given us longer breaks, and it has really been conducive to relationship building. And I think that Blue probably has something to say about that. I don't know how to get him up on the screen. There's Blue and there's Cindy. What do you think, Cindy? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, he's
You're
enjoying your
still.
talk.
He is. I think he feels good that there's a lot to glean from a
Mhm.
writers conference. Let me do
Absolutely.
this view. Cindy actually went to her very first writers conference this past year. And what would you say as far as like those three things combined? What was more important? What made the most impact on you? And there's no right answer.
Right. No pressure. I I liked the networking because the classes were amazing and they inspired me and they have made me want to write. But the networking and talking to other writers, and they were all encouraging. You know, they
Mhm.
none of them looked at you. Oh, Blues. Here's
There's
both of our
two.
voices now. um, just that they were encouraging and like, keep writing, don't stop. You have a voice. You have
Mhm.
something God has given you to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And that brings me to another thing I wanted to talk about during the live stream today. There was a panel at the end, right there at the end of the conference this time. And I will be honest with you, I don't usually enjoy panels. I just feel like it tends to be a lot of more basic information, a lot more of the information and stuff that we've kind of heard during the conference. There are a few new tidbits here and there, but in general, that's been my experience with panels. Not always, but in general. And so this panel was made up of writers, and the questions really led to some good discussion between the authors on the panel. One of the questions really seemed to me like it wasn't going to, it wasn't going to be relevant for me. It's interesting because the question was, is Christian fiction relevant? And I thought, well, of course. So I'm like moving on to the next question. But that is those moments when I know God is telling me to just tune in and listen because He has something new for me. And one of the authors talked about how um, there is the question, isn't Christian fiction written for Christians? Aren't you just preaching to the choir? Well, that is a struggle sometimes for Christian writers. Am I just preaching to the choir? But God whispers something like, yeah, but the choir is sick. And that statement impacted me so much. Um, another author went on to talk about, how as Christian writers, we are writing to other believers. And hopefully a seeker will find one of our books. But another way to think about it is that I am encouraging other believers as they walk out their calling in the world. And there is a place for that, and there is a calling for that. And just like, in any kind of battle situation or military operation, there is the support back in the US that is sending supplies to the soldiers and making it possible for them to do what they're doing. And so the Christian writing community is relevant, and that plays back into the networking and how we're encouraging and supporting each other because writing is a hard lifestyle. I know I make it look glamorous, but it's very difficult at times, and at times it's extremely difficult, tiring, frustrating, all the things. And I know that you've all probably experienced that in your life as well, whatever your vocation is. But writing is not an easy road to walk. And so these are places where we can become refreshed as writers from each other. And it's just a really wonderful thing. And I would really like to see if I can switch us to see how Blue's doing. Yeah, he's really thinking hard about what I said, isn't he? Yeah, I'm talking to you. He's a good Blue. I'm sorry. I'm gonna not talk like like I normally talk to my dog in front of everybody. I'm gonna bring my sweet husband on, who has also been to many writers' conferences, and see what he thinks.
Hey, how you doing? It's just a dry heat. Sorry, I had to throw that joke out
Oh
there.
my
So,
goodness.
no, writers' conferences to me, they're I like it because not only is it a chance to learn, but it's also that chance to network and to gain new insights. To sometimes you hear, sometimes you'll hear like one or two sentences through the whole thing that like is like paradigm shifting. Like, well, I hadn't thought about it like that, and it can, you're going this direction, and suddenly it's like, wait a minute, maybe this is the direction I need to
Hmm.
be going, or that's where God's calling me to move toward.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. The other thing I did want to mention as we close up, thank you for your thoughts, Greg. The other thing I wanted to mention is now Kelly and I are headed on the research portion of our trip. We are going to, I probably didn't say that loud enough. We're going to the Grand Canyon. The next book is that I'm writing is in the Railway Romance series. Some of you know that the first book, Laura the Tycoon's Daughter, is already out. And we're going to follow the next segment of that story to Arizona. And so, since we were going to this conference here, we thought we could just go up to the Grand Canyon, which is the locale where the story takes place, and research like some of the places where my character would have been if they were real. They are real to me, though. Only the writers will understand that. Maybe other people will too, but they're very real to me. My characters are. Um, so thinking about where my character would have been during the early 1900s, the things that she would have seen, smelled, felt, the overwhelming heat. I'm just kidding. Up there at the canyon, it's actually several degrees cooler there right now than it is here. In Phoenix, it's been up to, like I said, 112, 115. It's been in like the 70s and 80s up there in the canyon. So I'm looking forward to some cooler weather as well. But before I jump off, I am praying for those of you that were affected by the hurricane, and for those of you who have friends, family, neighbors affected by the hurricane. And I hope that there is relief out there. But I'm praying. Know that I am. All right. Well, let's check in with Blue one more time. And he's gone to sleep, and I probably should head out as well to our fun day. So I will see you next time. And please drop anything in the comments. Let me know what you think about what I learned most, what you think about networking, what you think is the most important aspect of a writer's conference. I'm eager to hear from you. But I'll see you next time.